What up, what up? Welcome to Unmaster the podcast where I get to chat with the contributors to the hip hop culture, the culture that we love. I'm your host, Tende Zimbabwe, aka TheUltraPoet, and today I'm hosting a man who gave us a classic tape, a classic album last year, later To Samantha, as a nod to the great Dambuzo Bareshera. Steve, ladies and gentlemen, hey man, please introduce yourself.
Hey, what up, yo? My name is Stiiv. That's my rap name. My name is Stephen Mukarisi. That's my government name. I'm from Town, and yeah, I'm a rapper. I believe that. What's up with you, Tatenda? I'm glad to be here.
Alright, man. I feel like Steve and Steven are the same name. Like, I don't know, man. Welcome, man, to the podcast. Let's talk. Let's talk. So, Steve, it's Steve, Stiiv, and your real name is Steven. Like, take us through that. What's your process of like choosing your rap name? Like, how did that come to be? Like, you say, no, I'm gonna be like Steve, but I'm gonna stylize it this way. Like, how was where was your mind in that moment that you chose this? Did you choose this? Did someone choose it for you? Like, balance me there.
Okay, let me take you back a little bit. Uh, Firstly, I was rapping as young Lilex. That was back in the day. That's when we was doing the beat remakes. My beats and a Soldier Boy. I still remember we got like a Make It Rain. I did 3 songs on that Make It Rain beat. I was young Lilex back then, and then I think mid high school from Form 6 up to some days in college, I was going by Skepti. Yeah, I did a couple tricks. That time I was almost serious. So then I realized that there was a famous rapper called Skepta in the UK, because I really liked the name Skepta and it was popular. A lot of people, even up to this day, people who I last saw a long time, they still call me Skepta. But then I went on and said, nah, man, I'm worrying too much, because I was looking for a name for a name to replace Skepti, and I had a couple names, but they were just they wasn't it for me. And then I realized, nah, man, I could just stylize my name using this, because when I was when I my classmates used to call me Steve. Like, I didn't like it, because my name, I wanted my name to be called in full Steven, and then they called me Steve. So I just said, yeah, I could use this one, because I think people like calling me Steve, and it is close to my name. So I just went by Steve, and yeah, boom, I became a serious rapper, man.
Which is dope, man. There's always a story behind every rap name, and we love to hear those. We love to see it. Steve, that's it rolls easy on the tongue, and everybody talking like, nah, bro, I was talking about Steve, bro. Like, it's just so stylish. Like, it's your name, and it's simple, it's straightforward. I like it. I like it. Okay, you shared a little bit about how you started rapping and the kind of things that you were doing. Now let's talk about like you starting out. How did you discover that you could rap or you wanted to rap? How has that journey been for you and where did it start?
Okay, so what happened was, my famous friend, he's now famous as a rapper. uh, he went to the studio first, and he came back and he told us about the thing. Bro, I can rap. What? I was like, nah, man, you can rap, so I can do it too. So the next time we went back together, and he did his thing, and he did like a chorus, and the guys just pressured me to put on a verse, and I put out what I was thinking by that time, man. I don't know whose lines I beat and whatever. And then that's when we went back home, we actually took the song back home, and people were listening. They were like, "Oh, both of you guys is dope." That's how I started out, and then I started rolling out with my dude Arthur. Arthur had this passion for music, so he used to emulate Birdman, and I automatically became a Little Wayne. So yeah, we rolled for a long time. I think from 2009 to 2010, I was rolling with Arthur, and we did a couple studios, Saj Pro, Rasmisi. We did a couple things, but then it was all whatever. And then I went on and I went to Masvingo. When I went to Masvingo, I started really looking up. I started writing my own music because I was far from home, and I wanted to stand out in school. You know what happens in school. And then I started singing. I was singing back then. I was singing, like, I wasn't rapping. I was singing, and I would sing for at assemblies and whatever. The girls would scream. That's really how it happened. And then Form 6, we did a song. We did 2 tracks actually. There's this one called Vangani blew, but it didn't blow like the way the second one did. It was called Tisutino Dio. Yeah, Tisutino Dio blew, bro. Like, it blew, and we was high school famous. Then I went on from 2015. I think I was a little bit silent. I wasn't working on nothing. 2016, I met my homie Yokai. That's when we started working. He was trying to make beats, and I was trying to rap again. Like, I wanted to be perfect, but I was still doing English. So he started making beats for me. I started rapping over them, but he wasn't a good producer, so we just mastered the things the way we wanted to, and those were my songs. I'm sure you're never gonna hear that music. And then 2017, I came back to Cheetown. That's when I really started rapping, like, for real. 2017, I did. That's when my breakthrough song came out, called Playback, and I did Bullshit. I did a couple songs, and they were dope songs. And then I did the Woodrow project. That was 2018. That was like a 12-track mixtape. It's nowhere to be found too. And then 2018, 2019, 2019, I did Twitter Zenaro Blue. Like, it was a club hit. It was a Cheetown club hit. Everybody, nobody knows me by like my rap name now. Now they do, but back then they didn't know me. So I would just say, Mdara Mundisi, Dindakaimba Twitter Zinaro. And kids would go crazy, bro. Like, that was it. And then 2019, I at end of the year, almost at the end of the year, I did another project. That was the Woodrow Project 2. It was a few songs in the Woodrow Project. And then 2020, that's when I started working on the album. And before we released the album, we put out a Bandere Dola. It was a 5-track EP with just singles that I did that never that never fit into any project. So we put those out, and they were dope. And then boom, the album came out.
Such an awesome story, man. I didn't know you had a club banger. that's a news to me, man. Obviously you left out the most important part, man. Like, we want to hear about Letter to Samantha, man. Like, the inspiration, the motivation behind the project. Because I was like going through Yard Universe. Shout out to Yard Universe. They're doing the most, man. Like, of course they're like quote unquote pirating some albums, but all the same they're putting out like rappers and artists out there that we wouldn't maybe know without them. Like, because I logged on to Yard Universe, because I'm just scrolling through. That's what I do occasionally. I'm going through Yard Universe to check out if there are projects from artists that I might like, and then I see this cover art, and I'm like, okay, the cover art is not good, but then I'm like, then I go to Facebook and I see all of my Facebook friends are talking about this album, and I'm like, no, I saw that album on Yard Universe. I go back, I download the album, and here we are. And I put it all of my friends on LimeRima, and all of my other friends, they were like, this is dope. This guy is really dope, man. So from then on, I was like, what's going on with this guy? He should be blowing up. This album should be everywhere. And I check on streaming sites, it's not there. Like, what's with that? Like, okay, first of all, let's talk about the inspiration behind Letter to Samantha and the vision that you had for the album, because everybody knows Steve now because of Letter to Samantha. Let's talk about that first.
Okay, so the first conflict came when I think it was 20 late 2019, and me and Cliff we just moved. He had moved to a new studio, so we wanted to make an album earlier, and then uh, I had written some songs, but they were whack, so we recorded them. But the dude that we was working with by that time, the owner of the studio, he was like, nah, this is not hip hop, bro. This is not hip hop. You're not saying anything. And I had recorded some music that I felt. But from those songs, I think a few like Boys Ravo, Mazirudo, those are the ones that sleep. Those are the ones we said, nah, we're keeping these. We're holding on to these. So the inspiration behind like the writing of the conscience behind Letter to Samantha, it was me discovering myself. It was me making a whole transition from what I was doing before, because I was in the streets, like I think from 2016, I say 2016, later 2016 up to, okay, let me say earlier 2016, because that's when I was really doing stuff. I was selling contraband in college. I was in the streets, and a lot of people, a lot of kids knew me, and I was known for nothing but just the best stuff, like the distro. I was the distro of stuff. Everybody who knew me was either a rasta or was really into those kind of things. So I was known for that, and me rediscovering myself, me trying to reinvent myself, and me knowing that if I kept on, if I got stuck onto that lane of the raps that I was doing, like the playbacks, the bullshits, they were dope, but I knew that at one point I needed to grow out of that. So that's when I started writing consciously. I started really making sure that my thought patterns are different now, and exploring the deepest minds of myself. That's when but then the topic now, the title Letter to Samantha, it came out later. I was almost halfway with the album, and then I was talking to some kids from my wood, and I was saying, bro, I need an album title. So some dudes who think hip hop is about the current, the whatever that is going on right now. I had like a title which I was saying Machen Kufita, so they were going with that. Like, put that one. So I had a picture of Dambudzo Marichera, and I had a few titles from Dambudzo Marichera, like the Black Insider, the House of Anger. Before I realized that Django had already did that. I knew Django had did that, but I was like, nah, it don't matter. But out of respect, I quit on the House of Anger, and then I was left with the Black Insider and a few titles. But then I went on and revisited the letter. It was actually I actually got it in PDF. So when I was reading the letter, it actually helped me finish off the album. When I was reading the letter, I realized, this letter, it might have been to his girlfriend, right? But it wasn't. It came out not as a love letter, but almost as somebody who was lashing out at his girlfriend. Say, because he was saying your people, your people, your kinds of people, and what's not. So that was me at that moment. I said, me changing, me getting a whole turn of my life, and me looking for new direction. That was really like the given point of me. So when I was writing, when I was finishing off the album recording, I had this idea of saying Samantha. I had Samantha something in it. So I don't know what happened. I was bored one day, and I was playing with words. I was playing with letter to. I wanted to do letter to whoever. I don't know who else I had in mind. Then I realized, nah, man, it's if I call it letter to Samantha, this would stick because there's already somebody who had written a letter to Samantha, and it contains some of the contents that are already in the stuff that I'm working on right now. So I realized I figured out that if I call the album Letter to Samantha, that was really gonna speak to a lot of people. And Letter to Samantha is not it's not a girl. I didn't write it for a girl. It was actually Samantha I was speaking to Zimbabwe. That was my Samantha at that time. So I wanted to speak to a broader audience. I guess that's why maybe it kind of reached people. Like I didn't expect that to hit like that. I expected that 50 people was gonna listen to the album. They will say, yeah, bro, it's okay, it's okay. And I almost thought of name dropping. After the album dropped, I wanted to go on social media, lashing out at everybody. But when the reactions came in, bruh, I was kind of like embarrassed at doing that, and left me with that. The only thing that I was left to do, the only option that I was left with was gratitude, was to be grateful, because I don't think that I expected that huge impact from my sophomore, from my debut album. And I say, because this is the first time I'm making like a commercial project, an album, which a project that I call an album, which is really full, which is mastered almost to almost to some good quality almost, and which is okay. You can listen song by song, and it really makes sense. There's something going on in there. So for me to not appreciate whatever came my way, that won't be fair, especially on my part. And Later to Samantha, it really came out as it helped me discover what I can do with the music, because I didn't know that I could really. Because I hear people now saying, "Oh, bro, I didn't know that you could rap like this in Shona. You could speak of such issues in Shona, and you could really put them in this way." Because I was really trying not to be political. I was just sticking to what I know. And I think it came out quite right. But yeah.
I feel like Letter to Samantha is a fitting title, like in contrast, like with the actual Letter to Samantha by um, Nambuzo Marechera, and what you're talking about. It kind of resonates, and it gives the album a classic look. And you having Nambuzo Marechera on the cover was really like the big move. It was like, I don't know what made you do that, but it was really the magna opus. Like, I don't even know what that means. I just say it, man. But I mean, like, I'm short of words. Like, the confidence, the boldness that you had in like choosing that cover was just, I don't know, man. Personally, I wouldn't have, like, the colors and everything. Like, okay, from there, I personally didn't like the cover art. I like the whole idea of having Dambuzo Marechera on it, but it wasn't drawing enough, especially with the design and what other cats are putting out right now. It has to be competitive. If it's gonna be on iTunes, if it's gonna be on Spotify, people have to look at it and be like, I wanna listen to this album. But it wasn't it for it. Like, let's talk about branding. What do you think was the reason behind Letter to Samantha not getting so much play in the mainstream, like all those other albums that are going out, like the Jungle Loco album, the Holy Tens album, the K-Shaps albums that are getting a number of streams out there? Is it because that you weren't on that mainstream level? Is it because of the branding or the marketing strategy? What do you think is the reason that it hasn't yet? Because obviously maybe it's gonna blow up in the future, but as of now, what do you think is the reason that's holding it back?
Yeah, I think that, yeah, you are right about the artwork. So what happened was, I was chilling with the homie that made the artwork, and we were looking at Mama Uyana Ana Jakarta. in the case of the older days. And we were also minding the international artworks, but I was looking at that J. Cole artwork, the For Your Eyes Only. It's not even fancy. It's nothing. It's just him looking backwards, and you know, people might argue that because I had this argument with my homie. He might argue that you're not even on J. Cole level. You're not even. But I was thinking of that that old school, that vintage, that classic. It didn't come out that way because we're in a day and age where if you do something that's considered old school, you're not being original. You need to come up with your own ideas. So I was looking at that. I was looking at the artworks, the zembeskona na shakata kudhara zekuti anogona kunge akangomira kana kuti akatozembera gitare, nothing fancy like that. So that's what I wanted to do, because we had like, you check the Bandere Dollar artwork. It's a dope item. It doesn't have nobody face on it, but it's a dope artwork. It's like the dopest artwork. So when I was chilling with Modisa, I told him, bro, we need to make this thing classic, from the music to the artworks. So my perspective was more of like, the thing might not be it might not be really beautiful, it might not look good, but the classic, even the colors that were in there, I don't know, it was beige, green, and whatever, and the trees, and I wanted to make it like as natural as possible, so that maybe the older people, because everybody who's older who I give my album artwork really defines what I wanted to make of the album. He says, this is crazy, wakaisa dambudzo paartwork, wakaisa dambudzo pa uyo, mfano unopenga chete, wakamuzira kupi dambudzo. That amazement. That's what I was looking for. The wow, like the wow dambudzo. Older people who I've given my music really appreciate it more. But I guess with the youths, the ones that I'm targeting, the ones who listen to music, who really consume music, the reasons why maybe they did not embrace it is because maybe first they didn't know me like that. I wasn't co-signed by anybody, maybe by the cast who pushed my album. Shouts to Plot, shouts to Yard, shouts to you, shouts to Denzel. Those are the kids who maybe co-signed me into people wondering who's Stiiv. But talking of the OGs, of the OG cats, I don't even have like any mentor, any OG mentor who like put me on a certain position. So maybe that's one. And then the other thing is the approach that I put on the album. It was a lot of confusion with me personally, because I felt like at first I was being rushed into things, because I had like my cats who was ready to go, and then the team that I was working with, we just failed to understand each other all of a sudden, and it was off. So after the album dropped, I was back to rebranding myself again. We had made a brand, and then we promoted the album, and it worked. But after the album, and we disbanded, we faced a lot of misunderstandings. It's a lot of visuals that we shot that might never even come out, because the ones who are responsible for that are holding them back. So it's a lot of things that happened behind the scenes that contributed to me, to the album not really getting that attention. And maybe to me, I say I'm part to blame for that. I was holding it. It was a dear thing. It was like my baby, So I didn't want to be irresponsible with it. I didn't want to let it go so easily. And I was looking at music like, we need to change even the approach that we are doing with our music. There's a certain need of change of approach that is needed right now, and I think I'll explain later.
All right, man. Like, we need the explanation now. No, I'm kidding. You don't have to talk about anything that you don't want to talk about. But let's if the thing that you said you want to talk about later fits into the next question, you can fit it in. What can we expect from Stiiv going on forward? I don't know if we are still in the era of Letter to Samantha, say new music coming. What are the plans? Because I know you've been working with other cats, you're on collaborations with other artists. But from you personally, what can we expect from you in the near future? Like, what's the direction that you're taking your brand towards, your music towards?
So with me now that we have managed to rebrand and maybe come up with a new team and maybe revitalize ourselves. I think musically you might expect something. I'm coming up with something. I'm coming up with maybe joint projects from a few cats in the industry. I got collabs with cats like Expose. I'm sure it's about to come out soon. I don't know. I don't know how soon it is because it's now with the producers, and I've got a few collabs. I've got surprising collabs. I've got surprising features. And then from projects wise, I think we are almost past the Letter to Samantha era. So I'm looking forward to maybe releasing another album before this year ends, and that's what I'm still working on right now. I'm still trying to find that perfect spot, because with me I think my approach has become broader now that I've got people who really listen to my music, and I'm willing to accommodate new people, and we're wishing to expand on the people who listen to our music. So visuals wise, I think we'll start on the next project, because the previous one, it was already like messed up, and nothing really came to fruition from that. So for me going onwards, I've got a team of people that I'm working with right now. I'm really wishing to push it forward. Now I think we have managed to grasp a hold of Key Town. So from this point onwards, we're looking to take over cities like Las Vegas with the features. We're looking to take over cities like Blues with the features. We're looking to take over cities like Harare with the features. We're looking to take over cities like Gweru. I've got a project with Majesty in Gweru, and I'm sure that it's gonna come out in his album. And I've got a project with PA7 in SA. So I'm sure that the SA audience, the underground SA audience, will really listen to some hip hop. They might enjoy that. And I've got other projects that are coming with kids who are really hands on. I'm working with Rare Beats right now. It's just it was supposed to be a secret, but I had to let it out the bag. We're working with Braille. We're doing a few projects together, and so we are now working on something. And us managing to knock on Harare doors and they let us in, it's a good sign. And they really welcomed us with both hands. Rayo, Tricky, Lee K, they welcomed us with both hands, and they were like, okay, we're down to work with you. So in future, I'm looking forward to dropping an album, and this one is really going to be commercial, not commercial in terms of the music, because I don't know what the term commercial music is. I don't really understand that term commercial music, because I believe that what you speak and you put it on a larger platform, it becomes maybe mainstream. I can understand that, but commercial, I don't know how to make commercial music. So we are attacking that. We're attacking the mainstream side now, but with the same conscience that we already have. And so that's what's to come. And the second album, I promise you, this is gonna be deeper than the first one. If you didn't get Letter to Samantha, I'm sure you'd have to try to get this one. is deeper and more detailed than Letter to Samantha, because Letter to Samantha I was afraid of saying some of the things that I found a way to say in the next album. So that's what I'm working on, and Cliff Jones is always going to be the man who's behind the works.
If there are things that you held back in Letter to Samantha and that you're willing to put into the next album, definitely I'm listening and I'm waiting for that album, bro. I'm gonna have my ears on the ground so that as soon as it drops, we're gonna hear it. And I'm pretty sure that you already know this. Most people lose their essence when they are trying to make music that resonates with a lot of people, because maybe of course you need the numbers, you need the money, but at the end of the day you still gotta stay true to yourself, and I hope you do that in your pursuits. Now let's talk about something that I wanted to talk to you about. I'm pretty sure you listen to international hip hop, your J. Cole's, your Tyler the Creators, your I don't know, your Pop Smokes, your IDK. So there's been this talk about album of the year. Of course, I'm not going to talk about Zimbabwean hip hop with this, or African hip hop, because there hasn't been a lot of like good albums that we could really have well around like discussion about album of the year in 2021 in Zimbabwe. I don't know if this is going to be offensive to someone, but the conversation is not yet that ripe at this point. Let's talk about the American hip hop scene. Like, who do you think is gonna get album of the year? Because we've got Tyler the Creator dropped his album "Call Me If You Get Lost." We've got J. Cole, the Off Season, IDK with the "You See for Yourself." We've got Pop Smoke with Faith. A lot of other albums that are hopefully gonna be coming through. Isaiah Rashad, Drake, and what do you think about the whole thing about album of the year? Do you think there should be this discussion, because obviously these albums are all hip hop, but they're in different lanes sometimes. The artists at different levels and everything. What do you think about the album of the year discussion?
Yeah, that's really like a discussion that should be in rotation, especially in America. What I like about the Americans is this: they they look at everything, right? They look at the sales and whatever. But you'd see that Macklemore won that Grammy award for album of the year over Good Kid, Mad City, over that item, that Drake album and whatever. So when it comes to that, to the album of the year discussions, I think what you have to consider is how much impact the album came, and on what grounds does it stand to challenge, and how many to challenge the issues that it is attacking. Like, let's look at Pop Smoke. We all know that Pop Smoke is the king of drill, right? Is the king of New York, the New York trap sound. That's Pop Smoke, right? And for him to get that album, it would be maybe based on the getting that award. It would be based on the maybe the impact that his sound that he has introduced into the music, the impact that it has made. Because right now we're going crazy over these drill beats, and it's all Pop Smoke. It's all thanks to Pop Smoke. Peace to the G. He's dead now, but it's all thanks to him. He's the one who really made he left the mark for the drill to come through. Speaking of Tyler is like the classical rapper. You know what I'm saying? He sticks to his lane. He really raps for the people who listen to Tyler. So him making an impact, it will be easy because he's talking to people who already know what he's gonna talk about and what he will be attacking. And people hyping that up, it's easy. Same as J. Cole. J. Cole might have like an extended audience of a cultic following, but still the people who know what he is attacking, what he is talking about. Let's give an example I really like to talk about KOD over the off season, because the off season, I'm a shelf guy. I would shelve an album for like a year, and then I'll go back to listen to it again. I listened to the off season, and then I shelved it, and then if I listen to it after a year and it's still sticking and it's still saying the same thing, it still means what it meant when it came out, then that's an album. That's a classic album to me, and I'm sure J Cole can do that with us. I was listening to KOD like some time back before Cole dropped his album, and I was listening to it. I realized this album was album of the year when it came out, and he even did like the freestyle. It might have not won an award of that, but the way that it was composed, the way that it was structured, I think that's the most that's the that's the J Cole album with that's a high quality J Cole album coming from J Cole. Considering that he produces music for himself, I think that's a high quality J Cole album compared to all his albums before and after. Even the off season is a little bit low quality. 2014 Forest Hills Draft, it was okay. The quality was okay. The delivery was wow, but the quality, it was okay. For Your Eyes Only, that was a low quality. That was almost a soundtrack. We can call that an album. And so I say KOD was album of the year when it came out. Of course, there was an Akata 5, there was other albums that year, and a Queen, Scorpion, and whatever, but that was album of the year. So here in Africa now, here in Africa, let's dumb it down to Africa. We haven't reached that point. Why? Because mostly people don't blow up off of albums in Africa. They blow up from singles. It's not like his album made a huge impact. No, they blow off of singles. Check Nasty C, that was Juice Back. Check Aries, it was Couldn't. Check MT, Roll Up. Check AKA, Victory Lab, Jealousy. Casper Nyovest, same thing. Dog Shebeleza. Even them cats, even the old school cats, they broke through because of singles, which is normal. But I tell you that Kendrick Lamar, Section 8.0, that was like his him making a mark into the music scene. Drake, Thank Me Later, that was him making a mark into the music scene. Lil Wayne, we speak of Carter 1, Carter 2, that was him making a mark. Jay-Z, we speak of Reasonable Doubts. You know what I'm saying? So people, it's a different appreciation when it comes to albums when you're talking of Africa. I think people need to be conscientized enough to know that we listen to the whole body of music and we analyze it as a whole body of music, just like the people from other genres too. We're still waiting on it for a Macheso album. Right now, I'm still anticipating a Macheso album. Me myself, I'm not a fan, but I'm just optimistic that Macheso might deliver an album. It's going to blow. You know what I'm saying? So if we manage to touch the people that way, where we give them a belief in a body of work, like Tuku did, like Nkanya did, like maybe Anachuoniso did. They gave us belief into the. Of course, it was Iwaines, it was Wandirasa, but it was Ancient Voices, it was Rebel Women. You know what I'm saying? It was Wema Andirase. It was what do you call it? Paivepo from Kanya. It was Chimurenga volume whatever for Mkanya. So as long as we manage to do that, and it's not happening even because no disrespect or whatever, but case like Japreza failed to give us a body of work that is appreciable from track A to Z without even without a certain level of mediocrity, without pushing mediocrity just to give him a pass. They have failed to give us that. And I feel like if we really push, if we really look back and take back that culture that was there, the album culture that was there, take a look at the Chamembe volumes. Of course, the second volume was not as much impactful as the first volume, but that was it. Maskiri, like that era is gone. Like it's almost as extinct as it could be. You know what I'm saying? We can speak of Rocky, who hasn't had like a solid project like that, but he still managed to fit into a few projects, and they made impact with him being a part of those. So the album issue is the reason why we cannot appreciate albums here in Zim is because people are not really regular consumers of music, but they are fast consumers of music. We're already moving on to the next thing. Before we dig in with depth into what reasons why Holiday right now needs another Ndaremerwa, because he blew off of a single, right? He released Risky Life. That was cool, but when you speak of Risky Life, it doesn't have the same impact as his single does. Because Ndaremerwa overshadows like a lot of Kate's catalogs. Only a single, even his catalog, even his album catalog, it is overshadowed by Ndaremerwa. So we, for us to turn back and say now we appreciate an album, there's really some education that is needed to be instilled into the people before we do that. And I think that's one thing that is going to motivate me to keep on making like bodies of work that are huge albums, and trying to maybe stick to a certain subject matter, a certain kind of vibe, a certain sound. Maybe that's going to be my motivation, because I'm attacking the key things that were left out when people were trying to revolutionize this music even in Africa. We left out the most important part, the parts that we leave, the legacy that we leave, which is albums. You might do a hit single, but you would need the legacy, you'd need that discography for you to really make a mark, for you to really leave a mark, and for you to get that which you are fighting for.
Wow, man, I'm short of words. I mean, I'm definitely gonna make this as a snippet and then put it up on YouTube before I drop this whole episode, because you talked a lot about that, and I'm gonna title it the album culture is dead in Zimbabwe. Because obviously, I don't want to comment on Jabrace's album. I haven't really listened dig deep into it. Okoye was okay for me. Wasn't all that great, but that was great for me. I haven't really listened to Guara for me to give an honest opinion. So I'm gonna talk about that. Now let's just like there's a whole lot of controversy that you might just have opened there, but I'm pretty happy that you uh, comfortable enough to open up about all that stuff, which is really great, which is really amazing. Thank you for that, man. Now, I want to play a game with you that I call Random 10, where I ask you 10 random things to give us the answer, and we know a little bit about you from what you like. So, number one is going to be what's your favorite movie? Number two, favorite TV show? Number three, visual artist, color, meal, country, car brand, rapper, album, producer. Let's go.
Okay, so my favorite movie is going to be Juice, no doubt. That's off the top. And my favorite TV show is Power. Yeah, Power. Not the spin-offs, but the Power series. And then for visual artists, I'm not sure. I'm gonna say between you and Denzel, because you guys I like the way that you do your arts, even the I don't know, your pages. I peeped your pages a long time ago, and I saw your interview on the 263 posts before it even popped. I was like, nah, man, the visuals is really nice, and my favorite color is blue. My favorite meal is definitely spaghetti and pork, or odd combo. My favorite country, that's Canada, for the peace. My favorite car brand is Nissan. My favorite rapper is Drake. My favorite album is the Machiavelli the Dawn. That's my favorite rapper. And my favorite producer worldwide. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. Worldwide, my favorite producer gotta be Swiss Beats. Yeah, Swiss Beats is my favorite rapper. My favorite producer, Swiss. And yeah.
Yes, man, that brings a lot of character. TV show, definitely the Power spin-offs. I haven't had the time for them, man. Like the whole series was tolerable. I liked it, but the spin-offs, man, ha 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 ha. Visual, what is me? Man, I don't know. Me and Denzel, man, like yeah, we're definitely doing the most. We're putting in the work, but I haven't really grown to being the person that I want to be in on the visual space. But anyways, thank you for the shout out. Blue definitely was my favorite color, and yeah, I didn't get you really on the favorite rapper. Who's your favorite rapper? And just like we've reached the end of the podcast, what message do you want to share with the listeners, to your fans that are listening, to everybody who has been supporting you through the times? What should you want to say to them as maybe the few words that you want to say before you leave the podcast?
Yeah, seeing you or not, that would be Drake, my favorite rapper. That's yeah, he's singing, I know, but you know I'm shy to say that Drake is my favorite rapper to a lot of people. But anyways, to everybody who's been listening to me, since the inception of Stiiv, people who got to support, who got to love later to Samantha, people who are looking forward to the music. Thank you, and please stay tuned. And you know, we might be having we might not having like the pretty good time right now, but let's enjoy what we have. Let's enjoy everything that is coming our way. That is good. Like, I appreciate you guys. You're always checking up on me. You're always checking if I've got anything new, if anything is in the works, and yeah, so I really appreciate, like, if only we could have like more people like you who are ready, who are willing to push the culture with everything they have, before they gain something from it, just for the love of it. I think that would be great. And I think that with you doing this, with you sharing the ideas with people, I think more and more people are gonna be willing to put in their input into the because music is not only the artist, it's not only the producer, it's not only the radio DJ, but it's a whole community, up to the consumer, up to the person who buys the music, who listens to the music, who who gives their attention to the music, who attends the shows. So I'm really grateful for the people who are with me on this journey. And yeah, please share it with me. I hope you enjoy it more. Peace.
Thank you so much, man, for coming through. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Stiiv, and I've been To Samantha, aka the Ultra Poet, and this has been Unmustered, the podcast where we get to chat. Kwanu hedu wanotikaza the hip hop music that we love, the producers, the rappers, the writers. And follow us on social media at The Heat Trader, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Until next time, this has been lovely. Lovely. Thank you.